This is a rebuild or a reassembly of a Dewalt XRP DC925 transmission and clutch. If it all comes apart like it did on me when I pulled it apart to re-grease, got it from a pawn shop and just wanted to kind of do a once over, and had a little bit of troubles getting it back together again, but eventually ended up figuring it out. So we're going to continue on. I'm going to pull, of course, the 4 bolts out, take this assembly off, and pull the transmission will be inside once you pull it out, and you just slide the transmission out. And I will pull the screws and get the transmission all pulled out, and we'll be back. Here's the transmission all assembled, or gearbox if you wish to call it that. Again, this is from the XRP DC925, is what the model said. Got a few errors on it, as I managed to disassemble it when I was pulling it out of the unit. So you might want to have a clean and clear space when you pull it out, and be ready to go looking and collect some pieces when or if it comes apart. So I am going to dismantle it, lay out the pieces, and then we will continue from there. Okay, well, here we have everything all disassembled. This is the part that you can see on the outside. You see there's the tab on there to adjust from speeds 1, 2, and 3. This is an outside attaches to that for adjusting your speeds. This is your main housing. You'll have several gears. You got down here you'll have 5 long, 4 medium, and 4 short. You also have a rod with a spring and a little nubbin sticks off of that. Also, you'll have 5 little roller pins, and you have a retainer, an end cap, another retainer, and then this is your middle retainer. Hopefully you've got all the pieces to get it put back together again. I'm going to reset up the camera and start assembling. Alright, let's go for some assembly. You have your middle piece here. You can differentiate it from one of the outer pieces. You only have the 2 retainers. This one goes in the middle. You'll see that it's keyed on the inside here, and you see that you've got keyed on the outside there. And top and bottom, top are the same. So you just want to have that slide inside of where it is keyed. Go ahead and let it sit down the bottom there. Try not to bend it. Just get it to seat. Once you have this ring and this gear ring, and the one that goes towards the smaller opening is the smaller gear. Just the gauge of it. Before you put that inside of there, you want to grab one of your guide wires. Get that fitted to the ring. You'll notice that you have 2 slots there. Get it inside the slot. Give it a little bit of a turn either way. Make sure that it is seated down against that that middle ring there. Now with your spindles and your gears, you notice that you have long spindles, so long gear. Put your gears on your gears on the spindles. Give it a little bit of a turn. Make sure that the seat's on there. Again, trying to make sure that these little roller pins, they love to run away on you. I don't know if you see, but you've got kind of a timing mark, or it looks almost like it's split. You also have one on the main gear there. Go ahead and just get those guys lined up, and it'll slide right in. Your little roller pins. You see where that goes. Hopefully, go in between each of those little cogs there. And once again, you should have 5 of them. And one of mine fell on the floor. Well, we will continue on. There should be another roller pin that goes there. And then you notice this ring, it has kind of a beveled side and a flat side. You want to have your flat side down onto the gear. And just set that over top, trying not to knock any of your little spindles off. Now this outside retainer, this you'll notice is also keyed. You have a marking here, 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 and here. 4 places. Just make sure you get 4 of them lined up. Slide it in there. Should hold in fairly well on its own. And then that, you'll notice, has a little groove there and an opening. You want to make sure that that lines up. Just move your gears until things line up. You want to line that up with this hole. And then it should kind of pop down in there. There's a reason that it fell apart, so you want to kind of hold on to that, make sure that it doesn't go anywhere on you. And just flip it over and go for the other side. First part is going to be this big gear with the little spindles on it. You notice if I put that gear on there, spindle sticks up, means I've got the wrong gear. So we want to use our medium-sized gears. Goes inside of there. Again, you'll notice there's a groove like on that other ring that we want. Put the, it's not a keeper, it's more of a guide for the outer ring there for putting your and you notice I screwed up. We gotta pull those little gears out and get that guy in there. Easy enough. And want to make sure that that is inside there. You got to put one inside in and then the other. Give it a little turn. Make sure that it is seated down in there. Now we can get our little gears in there. Falls right down inside of there. Again, we got spindles and gears. Notice that they fit quite nicely on that spindle. before we get too far, we want to get this pin down in there. You notice it comes down out the bottom side. Get the spring onto said pin. And then we've got that other little rod that goes on top of that spring. Slide it together. Our last part is our little clutch mechanism here. Just kind of roll them around. Roll your gears around until things kind of fall into place. It's fairly easy to get them in there. This guy goes in, gives a little twist just to keep it on there, and we have it pretty much all assembled. Now the part that's rather tedious, when you look at this, you want to see you're going to have kind of a guide pin here, here, and here coming off the plastic. You want to line that up with here, here, and here respectively. Little wire spring guys there, they're kind of guides. They will go into here and here. Catch is, you got to get it on both sides. So I'm just kind of flop it in there, and then usually use something kind of pointy. Try and get up just in there and try and get it lined up with the grooves. And get both of them. Just hand-eye coordination at this point. Got one side, now we've got to get the other. One thing is, if you can get it to move, shaking a little bit of play with the gears, sometimes you can get it to move, and then get the other two pins lined up. Once we have those guys lined up, this little guy here will have a rounded nubbin end, and you'll have kind of a hook that will slide up underneath of there and hook into place with that groove. Go in one groove and hook into the other groove. Now this guy is going to go thin side in towards your driver. And there we have it all assembled and ready to go. At least yours will be, because you're not missing that little round roller pin that I've got to go look for. So, good luck to you. Hope that helps. Thanks. Bye.